Hey guys, how you doing? This is Restaurant Success Club. I'm Monty Silva, the host. I've got a couple of great people on here. They're good friends of mine, very talented individuals. Jay Ashton from Canada, Scott Turner from across the pond. We're going to get started. We're going to start the conversation. As you begin to listen to this live stream, if you're joining us, please hit join, and that will put you backstage, and I can bring you up on the stage so that you can share your intent. But the goal of this is not for a couple of talking heads to share their eternal wisdom with you, but it's to be collaborative and create a conversation where, all of us are smarter than, all of us are smarter than, none of us are as smart as all of us. I know that anyone joining this conversation will have value and have something to share. So please, if you're following this live, please join in, and I'll bring you into the video screen. If you're super shy and you don't want to do that, that's fine. Continue to listen. But the goal of this is really to incorporate a really great conversation with lots of people that know way more than I do, and collectively, I think it'll be a great conversation. So we're going to start off each week. There is a topic. It is based on an article that I share in my newsletter. If you haven't joined, please subscribe. It comes out on LinkedIn every Monday, and it's called Restaurant Success. And it's a great opportunity to start a conversation. And then that following Thursday, Today Live, we'll talk about whatever that topic is. So the conversation this week is on why the old model P&L just doesn't work anymore, and it'll ruin your restaurant if you follow that path. Again, I'm not here to regurgitate what I wrote. I'm here to listen to other people and have other people share their wisdom as well. So we're going to go around the room with the people that are on right now. Introduce yourself, and then just kind of share your initial thoughts on why you think the P&L model is not sustainable and not a good thing today. And we'll start with you, Jay. You want to talk about who you are and what you do, and then your thoughts.
I like Scott's voice, though. It's got that bloody British accent. That's like, you already are smarter with the accent, just so you know, Scott. So I've been in the industry this is my 34th year in the industry. I've been doing this for a while. I have a couple podcasts, as you know. I actually have two podcasts, one not a podcast show that airs every night. And I've been consulting thousands of restaurants over my career. Created the resource department for Cisco when it comes to the resources and stuff that we provide to hundreds of thousands of customers. So I've been doing that for 17 plus years out of my career based. And I do write articles, write new stuff, all that stuff as well, all that good stuff. Why I think the question is why I think the P&L is broken. I think the overall industry is broken. And the simplicity of that is the percentage on return on the industry that we all work in. There's the math. It's broken. So the P&L, yes, it's broken. Is the overall industry broken? Yes. There isn't an industry out there that generates the percentages that our people do and our industry does. So when we look at the P&L, hell yeah. Do we look at the industry? Hell yeah. There's some things that needs to be tweaked and adjusted in a sense of looking at different ways to generate profit through our organizations or our industry. So I think the P&L, yeah, but it's even bigger. I think the industry's also got some tweaks to adjust, because you can't keep an industry sustained at 1% to 2% margin profit. Like, that makes no sense. So you can't sustain that in an increasing environment everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. I see Justin. Justin, I think you're hiding. You're not backstage. If you want to join the conversation, please join, and I'll see you backstage, and I'll add you to the screen so that you can share. feel free to continue to comment. I love that he loves Scott Turner's accent.
I'll do.
But Justin, you've got a lot of great things to share as well. So feel free to join backstage, and I'll add you to the screen. So I'm very glad to hear what you had to say, Jay, and I couldn't agree with you more. The industry needs a lot of revamping, not just the P&L, but certainly, the conversation today is centered around that. And it's some of those things, I'll get back to you later to find out what you think some of the things that are not P&L, they affect the P&L, but they're not P&L specific, that you think are kind of ruining things. Scott, I'm super interested in your take, coming from the hotel world, going into restaurants and then back to hotels. So if you want to start off first, tell everyone watching who you are, what you do, and then I'd love to hear your perspective, because you have a perspective of how the P&L affects restaurants, and you also have a perspective of how hotels look at restaurants as, is it a profit center, is it a amenity, and kind of share that background. But first, share with the audience what you do, who you are.
Yeah, it's really good to be here. And do you know, if I'd have known the English accent that good, I would have moved over to the States when I was 18, and I would have taken a lot more advantage of it than I did when I was here. So yeah, really pleased to be here. Thanks for having me. Hey, I'm Scott. I'm the founder of Orden Hospitality. Over the last couple of years, we're on a mission to make hotel F&B great again, because we all know it's got a big stagnant. People have rested on the laurels a bit too much, and we're here to shake it up and put a bit of perspective into that. Why? I was in luxury hotels for 15 years. I became really frustrated with the way they were seen by senior figures, by owners, and I just felt like I was going to move from business to business and do the same thing in the same four walls, because everyone focuses on breakfast and meetings and events, and being real restaurants doesn't really cut it. So I moved to Dubai, worked in the Middle East for 5 years, and I worked for a consulting company in independent restaurants, and I really saw how restaurateurs think about restaurants and food and beverage very differently. So when I wanted to set up my own business and I wanted to go and look at what I wanted to do, it was kind of looking at how I could bring restaurant mindset, bringing it into a hotel environment, and help them to think a little bit differently. I've worked 3 continents, 12 countries, probably over 50 openings, restaurants, 4 hotel openings in 3 countries. So quite a bit of experience globally. Why is the P&L broken? Because the P&L, as we see it, and the P&L reviews as we listen to them, are stuck in the 1980s. Time's moved on. We need to be much quicker. We need to be much more agile. We have data now at our fingertips because we have technology there to do it. And if we look at the P&L, if we take the classic P&Ls that we did, so say in hotels, when I was in the hotel world, I worked for a Saudi investment company in independent restaurants towards the end of my kind of career in corporate hospitality. We used to spend days doing presentations on the P&Ls that came out probably 12 to 15 days after the end of the month anyway. We used to spend days in presentations on what the numbers said and why. And basically we used to have to try and cover our ass because the budget that had been set by people above were far too high, and we just couldn't achieve them. So we were basically covering our ass every month trying to work out what was going on. And we were never proactive. We were never really focusing on what we could do to improve, because we were too busy doing presentations and being reactive for people to then go and share it further up the chain from their side. But for me, Monty, I can get data on any of the businesses I work with right now. I can get it up now, and I can get month to date. I can get versus last year. I can get everything at my fingertips. Sales mix, which server is the best server, how many covers I've done, how much spend I've got. I can go into 7 rooms, my reservation system. I can tell you my average check per booking source that comes through. So why do I need to wait until the 15th of the next month to start talking about last month? I can do it today, for yesterday, for last month, and I can be much more proactive by looking at what the trend is saying to me here today. I can have much more collaborative conversations with the people that I work with. I can get the finance guy involved. I can do a lot more things proactively now than what we used to do when we didn't have those systems. We had to, the accounts teams had to do all the reconciliation. It did take time to produce, and they were the masters of the data because they were the ones who were seeing it all the time because it wasn't available. Now, if you don't have that data available to your ops team, back to Jay's point, there's probably that's the reason why you're sitting at 1% and 2% margin on the bottom line, because people aren't seeing the data quick enough to be able to react and see those marginal gains that can improve it. So fundamentally, that's why I think the P&L review and the P&L model is broken, because it's just not moved with the times. It's not proactive enough. It's too reactive. So it's not setting people up for success.
Yeah. So Chris Frawley has joined the conversation. Chris has a number of restaurants down in the Florida Gulf side, some phenomenal restaurants. If you're not following Jay or Scott or Chris, you definitely should be following them. And for Chris, you should definitely get down and see his restaurants. They're absolutely spectacular. And so his question is, can you give examples